Don't waste all of your AI credits in Descript by applying Studio Sound more often than you need to. It's a really common mistake and you just don't need to do it. Now, my content is usually about leadership and coaching. Creating a podcast is my way of getting my message out there, and really it's kind of a hobby on the side of what I do. But the more I do it, the more interested I am in the technical side of it, the more I'm learning and the more I want to help other people. One of the frustrations I hear about from fellow podcasters is unwittingly using up allowances, whether that's AI credits, minutes, or other parts of their packages. If you use Descript, like me, then you probably use Studio Sound. And it's really easy to burn through your AI credits without realizing it if you don't use Studio Sound in the most economical way possible. So I'm going to explain what Studio Sound is, how much it costs and how to use it, some of the workflows that can end up using more credits than you think, and how you can work smarter to get the most amount of Studio Sound for the least amount of credits. So what is Studio Sound? I imagine if you're watching this video, you probably already know, so I'll keep the explanation brief. Studio Sound is an AI-powered enhancement that turns average audio into studio quality audio. So if you're recording from home or in a noisy environment, it can get rid of background hums and reverb and any little noises that you want to get rid of and just make it sound a bit more polished. How do you apply it? Well, it's dead simple. When you're in your project, there's a function here for AI tools. Within AI tools, you click on Studio Sound. I've already applied it in this project, but you just tick this button here, and then you've got a little slider for how high or low you want the intensity to be. I've got some separate tutorials on the use of Studio Sound and what those things do and how you can just tweak the quality. But that's a different tutorial, so make sure you follow the channel if you want to check that out. For today, I'm just talking about AI credits. How much does it cost? It costs 10 credits every time you use it. And if you're on, for example, the hobbyist plan, which is the cheapest of the paid plans, you get 400 credits. So that's quite a lot of AI uses for Studio Sound. But let me talk you through some workflows and explain why you might use up more than you think. And bear in mind, you want to use some of those credits for other things, not just Studio Sound. So you do want to use the fewest possible. Now, here's the technical thing in the background. Studio Sound gets applied on a file level. Now, a file might be a recording that you upload or a recording that you record directly in Descript. However the recording gets there, one file is one use. So if you've got more than one recording, more than one file, that's more than one use. Let me show you one of my typical workflows. This is a podcast episode that I recorded. So on this occasion, I've dialed in someone remotely and we've both had a conversation and that's been recorded. That's two files, one for me, one for him. Then I've recorded an introduction. That's another file. Then I've recorded an outro at the end. That's another file. Later on, I've repurposed the content. I've chopped it up into little bite-sized highlight reels. Now that's okay. That doesn't cost me any more credits, but I've recorded a little bit of extra to top and tail those bite-sized reels. That's another file. That's another 10 credits. If you look at the project file here, you can see that's one for me, that's one for him, that's my intro, that's my outro, and a bit further down, here's some extra stuff I've recorded. Oh, and I've even done a little bit more. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files on this particular project. That's 60 AI credits straight away. Now, you can work smarter than that. Let me show you how. Now, the first thing is just good old-fashioned preparation. What I could have done on that particular occasion is after our conversation, one recording for me, one recording for him, I could have stopped my workflow and figured out all of my other bits in one go. My intro, my outro, and what I was likely to want to say to top and tail the highlight reels. By taking a pause and spending that extra time, I could have then recorded all of those things in one long continuous sequence. One file, just 10 credits. Then I could have chopped that file up after I've applied Studio Sound, because once you've applied it, and you can edit that file as many times as you like. So instead of using 6 recordings, I could have just used 3. You're probably thinking that just talking about preparation is a bit of a low-tech solution. Well, it is, but there is a more technical solution as well. Sometimes you have to record more than once. Maybe you're recording over a period of time, you have to come in and out of a project, or maybe you're recording in different locations or on different devices. So I've set up a project here where I've got 4 separate recordings and I've not applied Studio Sound to any of them yet. If I was to go in and apply Studio Sound now, that's going to charge me 40 credits. But there is a different way. What you can do is, instead of doing it right now, you could export this as one single file. So instead of those 4 clips, I can turn this into one continuous audio file. Now, if you're going to do this, you want to make sure you retain maximum quality and don't over-process it before you get to your finished result. So you absolutely want to stay on lossless WAV audio, the best quality file possible. Put yourself on the highest sample rate. Probably turn off your normalizing, because you can do all of your normalizing and your levels in your final edit. If you recorded in stereo, keep it stereo. I've recorded in mono, so mono's fine, and don't worry about the metadata. When you hit export, what it's going to do is it's going to put all of those 4 clips together into one continuous audio file. Once it's downloaded, you can just go into your project files and find it and add it in. I'm not going to add it straight to the script yet. I'm going to let it do its business and upload. Now that means I don't need these 4 separate files in the script anymore. I'll leave them in the project files in case I want to use them later, but I'm going to get rid of them from my main project, and I'm just going to use the new file. And as you can see, this new single file has got all 4 recordings all in one. Testing clip number 1. Testing number 2. Audio clip test number 3. Any more for any more, number 4. Now I can apply Studio Sound once, 10 credits, and it's done. A couple of bits of advice I've got if you're doing this. First of all, don't try and do it with different people speaking. Studio Sound is really good, but it's not a magician, and it's based on recreating your voice with AI augmentation. If you've got different people's tracks and you try and apply Studio Sound once across them, it's going to get confused. It's not what it's designed for. You're not going to get a great result. Secondly, it works best if all of your recordings have got similar audio levels and similar environmental acoustics. If I recorded one clip here, but then another one in an echoey environment, and then another one on a different microphone standing further away, it's going to struggle to recreate my authentic voice and it's going to sound a bit odd. So you can only do so much. It does go back to that low-tech advice of preparation. The other thing is, just like I showed you in the workflow, don't overwork your audio. So when you're exporting it for the first time, make sure you keep it as a WAV, don't add any other effects or filters. The more effects you apply and reapply, the more it can make your sound over-processed, a little bit robotic and a little bit crunchy around the edges. Audiophiles will know what I mean. So just try and do the least that you can with it to get to the result that you need. So those are my 2 main tips. Number 1, prepare in advance and record everything in one hit as much as you possibly can. Number 2, in a pinch, you can always try to knit together separate recordings as long as they are you and as long as they all sound acoustically similar. That will reduce the amount of AI credits that you spend on Studio Sound. I do all of my editing in Descript, and I think you should too. If you're not using it already, my affiliate link is in the show notes. If you use my link, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does support my channel, so please use my link. If you found this useful, make sure you save it. You can come back to it again and again, and if there's something else you'd like advice on, let me know in the comments.